Hello everyone, Thomas Fleming here. Well, today was moving day and I moved in between the rain showers, so I didn't get wet. I got out before it started raining and I had to wait for a break in the rain, and then I set my tent up. And then I wait for the next break and I go get some more gear and put it in the tent. I didn't get wet. Sometimes you just got to work around opportunities like that. But I'm not going to be able to sit on a bench because they're all wet. So I'm going to my favorite swing over here. I've been here before. I've got to get my gear organized, and this is relatively close to my gear because I want to head south. I am contemplating going to Florida, but I got to get my son to give me a date when he's coming back. He's got a link that I have in my description for his GoFundMe while he's down there. But he goes back. He doesn't have a work visa down there. We're trying to get him a sponsor. But he goes down there for 90 days, comes back for 90, and then goes back down again. And he's helping out down there. Pray for his girlfriend down there and her family. Her family was just doing a funeral. Their grandfather died. So pray for them. I'm going to see if I can get this all the way expanded out, because we're going to read out of the Bible here in a bit. Okay. Okay, there we go. I'm on my swing. I like this. The river is right there. It's a little foggy. I don't know where I put my microphone. When I get the camera a little bit further away from me, it's at an arm's reach right now. I gotta look for it. I've been rearranging stuff and I'm having trouble finding things. We're going to go to Jeremiah. Jeremiah, Daniel, and Ezekiel, all about the same time frame, having to do with the destruction of Israel again, Judah. King didn't do a good job. Jeremiah warned them. They put him in prison. Don't shoot the messenger. Where am I at? And when Nebuchadnezzar came in and captured everybody, they got Jeremiah out of prison, took Daniel back. Daniel was a young man. Nebuchadnezzar had a smart mind. He was a conquering king, so he conquered Israel and destroyed the cities and all that. But he brought back a lot of the young men and told his people, go through them and find out who are the smartest in the group. I want them to come into the temple, into the palace. I want them trained in our ways. Even let them eat from my my table, and Daniel was one of them. He was given a Babylonian name, but you know the story about Daniel, when they were told, some of his other peers, if you will, young men that were brought in, were jealous of him because the king liked him. And they set him up. They went and told the king, I'm getting a little off of my story again, another little rabbit hole. But they were told they had to worship the king of Babylon and to eat from his table. And Daniel said, I won't eat from your table because your food's been offered to idols. Well, king didn't like that, but he put up with it because he liked Daniel. But his peers didn't like him, so what they ended up doing was setting him up. Daniel used to stop at the same time every day in front of his window and pray to God. Every day. He was one to want to talk to God every day. That's why he was special. So his peers turned him in. Said, he's not praying to you, he's praying to another God. And your law says that you have to throw them into the lion's den. So they did. They threw him into the lion's den. God closed the mouths up of the lions. All right, we had a couple come by to look at the water, and they had a dog, so I had to stop for a little bit. Let me quickly just run over to Jeremiah. One of the things that a lot of our patriarchs, or God's people of example that we have in the Bible, had in common was the ability to just freely talk to God. They had relationships with God. They weren't Christians back in the Old Testament, and even Abraham was thought to be righteous because of his way of respecting and dealing with God. Obviously, Adam and Eve in the very beginning walked the garden with God. So he likes that when we can just get with him and talk to him, and frankly talk to him about things. So we're going to see an example of Jeremiah, who's obviously have a lot of experience talking to God and was a prophet. So he would hear from God. I don't know how he hears from him. I don't know how I hear from him. I just do. I don't hear voices. I'm not that crazy. Duck, here they come again. But talk to God, and he'll find a way to get you to hear. Maybe from somebody else, it may be from the Word, it may be a dream. In my case, it's almost never a dream. The minute I start dreaming, I'm going to sit up and say, okay, God, you got my full attention, because I don't dream. At least not that I'm aware of. Anyhow, let's turn to Jeremiah 12. First verse. Righteous you are, O Lord, when I plead with you, yet you let me talk to you about your judgments. Jeremiah goes, why are you doing this? What can we do? Is there anything I can do to help? I mean, it's just a conversation. Why does the way of the wicked prosper? How often have we asked that question? Seems like the bad guys win. They get all the money. They do whatever. I mean, they have the nicer cars. They appear to have the trophy wives. They don't last long. Why are those happy who deal so much treachery? You have planted them, yes, and they have taken root. They grow, yes, they bear fruit. You are near in their mouth, but far from their mind. So God puts bad people out there for a reason. He picks the leaders of our government for a reason. That's why we're to obey the government. Unless they tell you to do something against the Word of God, you're to obey the government. We're to obey our government. whether you want to or not. Don't try to hide from it. Don't try to... I keep telling people when we're prepping, we're not prepping to hide from the government. You don't need 10 years worth of food. You don't need to have a bomb shelter. We're getting out of here in the beginning. What you need to do is survive the beginning. That's all you have to do. How much of it are we going to see? Well, we're in it now as far as the run-up. We're in the labor pains right now. How long is a standard gestation for a human? 9 months. We're not talking about a long period of time. Now, we've been in it for more than 9 months because if we count the Revelation 12 sign. But this is all prep work. This is all setting up for the O-W, was it? Where? O-W-O? Is that how you say it? I guess it is. I can't visualize. I can't draw this on a chalkboard in my mind and read it. I have to think about it. But it's setting up right now. The harlot is setting up, and at this point in time, more than likely working with the beast. In the beginning, when we're told what the beast looks like or what the harlot looks like, we got the 7 heads and the 10 horns. Well, the 7 heads, that's the harlot. The 10 horns, that's the beast. It says that the beast rides on the harlot in the beginning. He doesn't want to do that permanently, and the beast will eventually break away and kill the harlot. But we're not there yet, and that's probably after we're gone. But what we're doing now is they're setting up the world. Okay, continuing on in Jeremiah, verse 3. But you, O Lord, you know me. You have seen me. You have tested my heart towards you. Pull them out like sheep for the slaughter and prepare them for the day of slaughter. How long will the land mourn and the herbs of the field wither? The beasts of the birds are consumed for the wicked of those who dwell there, because they said, he will not see our final end. How much longer are these evil people going to be in charge? Today isn't the first time we've had evil taking over. It's on a worldwide scale now, but it's been happening for years. It's been surrounding the patriarchs. With Jeremiah here, we're talking about, the land of Judah, and we're talking about Israel. They split Israel into 2 tribes or 2 groups. And they split the 12 tribes up. Some of them went north, some of them went south. The north went south in the figurative point of view first. They went the furthest away from God, and God destroyed them first. But even the lower part of Israel didn't last long, not much longer, and they were destroyed. And everything was destroyed, and they were all kicked out and taken off to Babylon. And there were other conquerors as well. But eventually at this time we're dealing with Babylon. Every time Israel repents, goes back to their land, and then falls away over time, this is a rinse and repeat. How long will the land mourn? Okay, we just read that. So God answers them. If you run with the footmen and they are wearied, and they have wearied you, then how can you contend with the horses? And if the land of peace in which you trusted, they worried you, then how will you do the floodplain of Jordan? In other words, it's tiring to watch the world or your country fall. And that's what we're watching. For even your brothers in the house of your father, even they have dealt treachery with you. Yes, they have called the multitude after you. Do not believe them, family members will turn in family members, even in this time. Even though they speak smooth words to you, they have forsaken my house. I have left my heritage. I have given the dearly beloved of my soul into the hand of her enemies. They're about to get conquered. And Jeremiah goes to them and tells them about it. And they don't want to hear it. Jeremiah warned all kinds of people and areas through his, quote, ministry. He's going to get thrown into prison. There will be those, maybe not in our first round, because the first round is going to be in the rapture, but there will be Christians afterwards. And they will be thrown into prison. Some will be killed. That's what's coming for those that don't get out on the first rapture. Don't let the world and the weight of what's going on bring you down. It is above your pay grade and mine. We have to do our best to keep a smile on our face, but keep it in your heart as well. I've done some acting. I can put a fake smile on my face, and you won't know the difference. But do your best to make it come from within. Because when you're smiling, people are going to think there's something about you that they maybe you're interested in. And then so you're opening to tell them about Jesus. It's going to continue to get worse. But we're still here. Keep the word going. Keep smiling. Keep doing your job. If you're working with a real job, just do your work. Whether you're putting the cogs on the things, whether you're outside, whatever you're doing, do it with a smile. Let the Spirit of God give you joy in your work. If you take the time and go start watching news channels, you're going to be like the rest of the world, frightened. Because everything they're putting up is to frighten you. They're telling us that we've got a resurgence of different things around the flu season's coming or something else like it, or, we have a flu shot. We have a shot for the other big C as well. We shouldn't be worried about it. And like the old saying is that if we're alive here on earth and we die, we're going to the hands of Jesus. If we get lifted up in the cloud, we're still going to the hands of Jesus to welcome us. Either way, we're going to Jesus as a Christian. If that seems odd to you, then you're not a Christian, at least not a proper one, because Jesus is waiting for us. There's a fiery pit waiting for everybody else. You don't want to be part of that. You want to be able to know that your destiny is going to be eternally with the God that created all this. Look at the beauty that's out here. Look at these trees behind me. Yeah, they're in a dormant state because of winter. They're still beautiful. I'm looking at the river. It's still beautiful. Yeah, we've had a couple of storms go through. Storms are normal. That's how God waters the planet. So we don't have to. I wouldn't want to be out in this forest with a garden hose trying to water this forest. It'd be a permanent job. My nose is itching. Someone's talking about me. Anyhow, don't let the world get you down. Be happy because we're in the end times. Nobody else in the time of history has been in a situation like this. They were looking for it in Paul's time. Paul was looking for it. He was looking for the rapture. That's why nobody can tell you that the rapture is not pre-trib. Paul was looking for it. It has to be pre-trib if he was looking for it 2,000 years ago. And you can find back there in the New Testament, they were calling the time that they were in the last days. Well, we call it the end times. It's pretty much the same thing. It won't be long until... Got somebody coming in the park, I guess. It's still early. I don't know what time it is. It's in the afternoon. I had to wait for the rain to stop. I normally would do a morning video, but I had to wait for the rain to stop. This is just a couple of little bands. I'll talk about it, I think, in my post walk around. I put a video at the end if you stay for that. You can always scroll ahead, but I put a video where I walk around the park. And I got set up here. I had to come in early before the rain hit and get set up. Some parks will let you do that. They're not completely like a hotel room. Some hotels will let you check in early and some won't. Those involved in good customer service will let you check in early if the site's empty. So I did. I applied 3 comp days to the end. I get comp days after so many days staying. So I put 3 at the end, so I'm going to be in here almost 2 weeks. I think I'm short a day. I'm trying to decide what to do, and I'm waiting for my son to tell me when he's coming back. I'm putting links at the end of in the description. You need to look at those. I do have a Telegram account in case this one gets too restrictive, but I can't do full-length videos there. I'll have to find someplace else to host them, and then I can link them over there, but I can't put a full video. I can only do like a 3-minute video. Whatever it is, it's not very long. And I do these for 30 minutes. And how much have I been talking? Well, we're about halfway there. But I have a Telegram account. I also have a Patreon account. I'm hoping when my son gets back, he can help me to manage these. I'm not real detail-oriented on some of this stuff. I've got the video side figured out because that's been what I've done the past few years in my retirement. But I don't know how to set up social media sites like they need to be. Yeah, I could sit down and learn it, but I'd rather get some help. So I'm trying to give my son something to do while he's back here, because his heart's in Peru right now, and that's why he's doing his work there. And down in my description, I've got his GoFundMe. If you can find it in your heart to contribute to that, that would be great. And again, I've got my sites, a Patreon. You can also contribute at the top of or when you look at the video, there's a money or a contribute mark there. You can contribute there. I also have my PayPal account. I'm fully retired now, and I've got my Social Security, and that works until the government screws it up. So pray that as we go to digital currency, we don't lose what we've got. We're going to it very, very soon. The banks have already activated it for them. It's not activated for us yet. Digital currency is going to replace money. Why do they want that? 666. That's why they want it. They don't want to give you an excuse to not have to be part of the beast system. If you can't buy or sell without the mark, you're trapped. The only way to survive is to accept the mark and damn yourself to the fiery pit, or refuse to and find ways to work in the background. That's one of the reasons you need to prep. And if you're not here because you've been raptured, that prepping food can go to your relatives who did not see to accept the free gift. The world will run to the free gift once they start seeing all the calamities coming. I would think the seals alone would be enough, but to make sure, then they're followed along with the trumpets. These are all judgments. But the true wrath of God comes after the abomination, and those are the bowl judgments. And that is where the term tribulation comes from. That's the second half of the week of Daniel, or of the 70th week of Daniel. There are going to be 3 different chances for people to look at what's going on. God is in love with the people, but not the behavior. Bad behavior always brings judgment of some sort. Sometimes, if you're trying, it might be a slap on the wrist. If you're telling God to leave you alone, it might be a brick to the back of the head. Whatever it takes to get your attention. If you're a Christian, God will do what He can to help you stay on the right path. If you're not a Christian, pity you, because you are going to find life very difficult. It's going to be difficult for us too at times, but I don't care. The goal is at the end. And I'm prepared, like you should be. All right. I'm going to head back. I've already had my late lunch, which might be enough for dinner. I was eating too much last month. I gotta cut back. Sometimes I get too comfortable out here. I can smell a fire. Somebody's got wood burning in their fire pit. Love that smell. Of course, if you're sitting next to it, your clothes all pick up that smell. That's all right. Tomorrow should be tonight. Saturday night's bath night. I could. But tomorrow would be better. Everything will be dry by then. Okay. We're going to be getting out of here soon. Don't let my last couple of videos worry you that we're not. We are. But we don't have a timeline. We don't, the Antichrist is here. We just don't know who he is. And he's not going to reveal himself until Satan's ready to start everything. The timeline is there. The heifers, they need more time for the temple. Maybe another year. We could be another year away. But we're not. Most of the world is dealing with things differently than we are in the United States. We're still in good shape. We can survive this. You can survive this. If you've got an ailment that makes it difficult, pray for the ailment to go. Don't pray for God to come for you. Or you can throw it out there, but His timeline is His timeline. He's not going to change it for anybody. But He can heal. How many times did Jesus heal somebody? Paul said he had a thorn in his side. Well, thorn's painful. Whatever it was. Some type of sin nature we don't know. A physical thorn of some sort. Maybe he has a bad hip. Who knows? But God wouldn't take it from him because it would. Paul was one that could probably be affected by the pride. So he kept it there to remind him. That's not why we suffer sometimes. Sometimes we just got to pray harder on it and then believe. And then if someone tells us to do something, oh, I don't want to do that. Sometimes you have to do something too to get rid of that pain. Change your diet. Take the medicine they want you to take. Or don't take the medicine they want you to take. Whatever God speaks to you about, you need to be doing. Don't blow it away. If you pray for help and help comes, take it. Even if it's something you don't want to do. I'm not talking about doing something against the will of God, because that's not what God would do. Somebody else might come in and give you something against His will. I can't afford the medicine, but you can go here and steal it. No, that's not what God would tell you to do. God would say, look, you can't afford it. Sign up for this program and you get it. You've got to take sometimes things you don't want to take. Take that bad tasting medicine. It wasn't meant to taste good, it's meant to heal you. We can be stubborn, but believe me, you are never going to be stubborn enough to get God to change something that's good for you. Now, you might be able to persuade him to allow you to do something that's not good for you. God's not unmovable. But follow his general rules and you will find your general life will be great. Okay, I'm going to head back. Till we meet in the clouds, God bless.